Welcome, and allow yourself to settle gently into this moment. There is nothing you need to concentrate on, nothing you need to remember, and nothing you need to hold in place. You can simply rest, letting the sound of this voice exist quietly beside you, like a soft presence in the room. Tonight, your mind is being guided into the calm and timeless world of dreams and sleep, a place that opens naturally when effort fades. As your body begins to rest, your waking thoughts slowly lose their urgency. The part of your mind that spends the day planning, deciding, and responding begins to soften. It does not disappear. It simply steps back, making room for a quieter form of awareness. This is how the sleeping mind begins its gentle work. Sleep does not arrive suddenly. It unfolds gradually, like dusk settling over a familiar landscape. Your thoughts stretch out and slow down. They become less connected, less demanding. Time begins to feel different, less precise, less important. The sleeping mind is not empty. It is spacious. It allows ideas, memories, and sensations to drift without direction or purpose. This drifting is not confusion. It is relaxation. The brain is no longer required to organize the world. It is free to wander. As you rest, your mind begins to move inward. External sounds fade into the background. Internal sensations become softer. The boundary between attention and rest becomes less clear. This is the doorway into sleep. Dreams do not begin with images. They begin with a shift in awareness. The mind loosens its grip on logic and control. It stops asking questions. It stops evaluating. Instead, it allows experience to flow without needing meaning. This is a natural state. Humans have entered this space every night for as long as we have slept. The brain recognizes it instantly, like returning to a familiar place. As sleep deepens, the mind's activity changes rhythm. Brain waves slow, becoming longer and smoother. Thoughts become less sharp. Awareness becomes more fluid. This gentle slowing creates the conditions where dreams can form. Dreams are not interruptions to sleep. They are part of sleep. They weave themselves quietly into the night, appearing and fading without effort. You do not need to invite them. You do not need to follow them. They come when the mind is ready. The sleeping mind does not move in straight lines. It drifts in circles, in fragments, in impressions. A feeling may appear without an image. An image may appear without a story. This is not disorder. It is freedom from structure. As you lie here now, your mind may already be doing this. Thoughts may appear briefly and dissolve. Images may flicker and fade. You do not need to pay attention to them. They are signs that the mind is letting go. The brain becomes less concerned with identity during sleep. The sense of self softens. You are less defined by who you are, what you do, or what you think. This allows rest to deepen without resistance. Dreaming does not require consciousness. Even when you are not aware of dreaming, the sleeping mind continues its quiet activity. It sorts experiences, blends memories, and releases emotional tension gently. You do not need to remember your dreams for them to be helpful. Most dreams are never recalled, and yet they still serve their purpose. The mind does not need recognition to function. As the night continues, the sleeping mind becomes more confident in its drifting. Awareness thins. Thought loses structure. Language fades. This is not loss. It is rest. Your body supports this process fully. Muscles relax. Breathing slows. The nervous system remains calm. Physical stillness creates the safety the mind needs to wander freely. Dreams often feel timeless because the sleeping mind does not track time. Minutes and hours blend together. There is no urgency here, no deadline, no expectation. You are not required to watch this process. You are not required to understand it. The sleeping mind knows exactly how to move through the night. As awareness softens further, the idea of following words becomes less important. The voice becomes part of the background like distant sound. Meaning fades gently. Sensation remains. This is where rest becomes effortless. The sleeping mind opens naturally when nothing is demanded of it, and as you continue to rest, this quiet journey into dreams has already begun. As rest deepens, the sleeping mind begins to move in quieter ways. There is no clear moment when dreaming starts. It does not announce itself. Instead, it emerges slowly, like a thought that drifts in without asking to be noticed. Awareness softens, and the mind slips gently into a different rhythm. The brain does not stop working during sleep. It simply changes how it works. The parts of the mind that organize language and logic begin to relax, while other areas become more active. This shift allows experiences to blend freely without needing to make sense. Dreams begin as gentle internal motion. At first, they may feel like vague impressions rather than clear images. A sense of movement, a feeling of familiarity, a quiet emotional tone. These early dream states are subtle and often pass without memory. As the sleeping mind continues to relax, these impressions slowly take shape. Images may begin to appear, not sharply, but softly, as if seen through mist. Scenes are incomplete, fluid, and easily changed. Nothing stays fixed for long. Dreams do not follow rules. They are not bound by time, place, or identity. This freedom allows the mind to explore without pressure. There is no need to be accurate or consistent. The sleeping mind values ease over order. The brain creates dreams by drawing from memory, emotion, and imagination all at once. These elements blend naturally, without separation. A place you have never been may feel familiar. A person you barely know may appear close. This blending is calm and effortless. Dreams are not stories being told. They are experiences being felt. The mind is not trying to communicate something specific. It is simply moving through its own internal landscape. As dreaming deepens, awareness of the physical body fades further. Muscles remain relaxed. Breathing stays slow and steady. The body remains still while the mind wanders freely. This separation is protective. It allows the mind to explore without the body reacting. Even when dreams involve movement, the body stays calm, supported by the nervous system's quiet regulation. Dreams often feel real in the moment because the sleeping mind experiences them fully. At the same time, the brain reduces critical awareness, which prevents questioning or analysis. This is why dreams flow easily without resistance. You do not need to control dreams. The sleeping mind does not respond to effort. It responds to relaxation. The less you try to follow or understand, the more smoothly dreaming unfolds. Many dreams pass without ever becoming vivid. This does not mean they are incomplete. Even faint, fleeting dreams support mental rest. The mind does not require intensity to restore itself. As the night continues, dreaming may come and go in waves. Sometimes it feels present. Sometimes it fades into deeper stillness. Both are natural. The sleeping mind moves freely between these states. Dreams are woven into sleep cycles, appearing more frequently as the night progresses. But this does not mean they demand attention. They continue whether you notice them or not. The mind creates dreams partly to release emotional weight. During waking life, emotions are often managed, delayed, or restrained. During sleep, they soften naturally. Dreams allow feelings to pass through without judgment. This process is gentle. There is no confrontation, no resolution required. Emotions drift, change shape, and dissolve on their own. Dreams also help the mind integrate experiences. Information gathered during the day is quietly reorganized. Important patterns are kept. Unnecessary details fade. This sorting happens naturally without awareness. You do not need to remember any of this. The sleeping mind works independently of memory. Even forgotten dreams contribute to balance and clarity. As awareness fades further, dreams may become more abstract. Images blur. Scenes shorten. Sensations replace visuals. This is a sign of deeper rest, not loss. The sleeping mind is flexible. It does not cling to one form of dreaming. It adapts easily, following the body's need for rest. If you wake briefly between dreams, the mind resumes easily. There is no interruption. Sleep continues smoothly, supported by internal rhythms that do not require attention. You are not missing anything if dreams feel distant. You are not behind if sleep feels light. The mind continues its quiet work regardless. As you lie here now, dreaming may already be unfolding beneath awareness. You do not need to wait for it. You do not need to invite it. The sleeping mind knows when to wander and when to rest more deeply. It balances itself gently throughout the night. And as this quiet dreaming continues, you are free to drift further, knowing that the mind is doing exactly what it needs to do, calmly, patiently, and without effort, as sleep carries you onward. As sleep deepens, the dreaming mind enters a state where reality feels softer and more flexible. In this space, experiences unfold without resistance, and the mind accepts what it encounters without question. This is why dreams often feel real while they are happening, even when they make little sense afterward. When you are awake, your mind constantly evaluates what you see and feel. It checks for consistency. It compares new information with memory. It decides what is possible and what is not. During dreaming, much of this evaluation quiets down. The mind is no longer interested in verifying reality. It is free to experience without judgment. This change does not happen suddenly. It unfolds gently as sleep deepens. The parts of the brain that analyze and question become less active, while areas responsible for imagery, emotion, and sensation remain engaged. This balance allows dreams to feel immersive, even though the body remains at rest. In dreams, the mind does not need permission to create. Images arise fully formed or half-formed, shifting easily from one moment to the next. Locations change without transition. Time stretches or collapses. None of this feels unusual while dreaming because the mind is no longer measuring experience against waking rules. The emotional center of the brain remains active during dreams. This is why dream experiences often carry a sense of feeling, even when details are vague. Emotions flow freely without the need to be explained or justified. They appear, move, and dissolve naturally. At the same time, the brain reduces signals from the body. Muscles remain relaxed. Sensations from the outside world fade. This separation allows dream experiences to unfold internally without interruption. The body stays still, protected by systems that keep movement minimal. Because the mind is not receiving strong physical feedback, internal imagery takes on greater importance. What the mind imagines becomes the primary experience. This is why dreams can feel vivid even though the environment remains unchanged. Dreams feel real because in that moment, they are the only experience available to awareness. The mind is fully present within the dream state without comparing it to anything else. There is no competing information. This immersion is gentle, not overwhelming. The nervous system remains calm. Even when dream content seems active, the body stays in a state of rest. Heart rate remains steady. Breathing stays slow. Safety is never compromised. You may notice that dreams often feel more emotional than logical. This is because emotional processing continues while analytical processing rests. The mind is exploring feeling rather than explanation. There is no need to control this process. The sleeping mind understands how to move through experience without becoming overwhelmed. It has done this countless times before. As dreams unfold, the sense of self becomes fluid. You may be present in the dream without a clear identity, or you may shift roles without noticing. This flexibility allows the mind to explore freely without attachment. The mind does not question these shifts because the part that questions is resting. Instead, experience flows smoothly, guided by internal rhythm rather than conscious choice. When dreams end, they often fade quickly. As the brain begins to re-engage waking awareness, the dream loses its hold. Details slip away because they are no longer needed. The mind has already completed its quiet work. This fading is not failure. It is efficiency. The sleeping mind keeps what matters and releases the rest. As you rest now, you do not need to wait for vivid dreams or clear imagery. Dreams may be subtle, fragmented, or completely unnoticed. All of these states support rest equally. Your sleeping mind knows how deeply to engage and when to soften. It adjusts naturally, following the body's need for restoration. If awareness drifts in and out, that is fine. The dreaming process continues whether you notice it or not. You are not required to witness your dreams. You are not required to remember them. The mind does not need recognition to function well. As sleep continues, dreams may become quieter, less defined, more atmospheric. This is a sign of deeper rest. Experience becomes more about sensation than imagery. The mind moves towards stillness naturally when it no longer needs to process actively. Dreaming fades gently into deeper sleep without a clear boundary. You do not need to hold on to awareness here. The body remains supported. The night continues its calm progression. And as the dreaming mind continues to experience reality in its own gentle way, you can allow yourself to drift further, trusting that the mind knows how to explore and how to rest, all without effort, while sleep carries you onward. As the night moves forward, the sleeping mind continues its quiet work, not only drifting through images and sensations, but gently easing emotional weight. During waking hours, feelings are often held in place, shaped by responsibility, routine, and awareness. During sleep, those same feelings are allowed to soften. Dreams are one of the ways the mind creates space for emotional release. This does not happen through effort or intention. It happens naturally as awareness loosens and control fades. The sleeping mind does not analyze emotion. It allows emotion to move. While you sleep, The brain reduces the activity of regions associated with restraint and judgment. This creates a calm internal environment where feelings can surface without pressure. There is no need to label them. There is no need to respond. Dream emotions often feel lighter than waking ones. Even when they are noticeable, they tend to pass gently. This is because the sleeping mind is not trying to resolve or suppress them. It simply lets them flow. As dreams unfold, emotional memories may blend with neutral imagery. A feeling might appear without a clear cause. A familiar emotion may drift through a scene without explanation. This blending allows emotional energy to move without resistance. The mind does not replay emotions to relive them. It reintroduces them briefly so they can soften. By experiencing emotion without consequence, the brain learns that it can release tension safely. This process supports balance. Emotional intensity is reduced. Reactions become less sharp. By morning, the mind often feels lighter, even if the dreams themselves are forgotten. Dreams help smooth emotional edges. Experiences from the day that carry tension are gently integrated. They lose urgency. They become part of the background rather than the foreground. This happens quietly. You are not asked to participate. The sleeping mind takes care of it on its own. As you rest now, your emotional system is already slowing. Hormonal signals shift toward calm. The nervous system remains in a restorative state. This creates the ideal environment for emotional processing without effort. Dreams are not therapy sessions. They are not lessons. They are simply moments where emotion is allowed to exist without being managed. Sometimes dreams feel emotionally neutral. Other times they carry a clear tone. Both are helpful. Emotional rest does not require intensity. Even subtle dreams can release tension. Even dreams you do not remember can ease emotional load. The mind does not rely on memory to heal. As sleep deepens further, dreams may become quieter and less defined. Emotion becomes more like atmosphere than event. This indicates that processing is nearing completion. The sleeping mind moves away from complexity when balance is restored. It prefers stillness. It prefers simplicity. You may notice moments where awareness fades completely. These are not gaps, they are deep rest. During these moments, emotional systems remain calm and stable. If brief dreams appear again later, they do so lightly. There is no need for repetition. The mind only revisits what requires gentle release. As the night continues, emotional rhythms slow. Heart rate remains steady. Breathing stays deep and even. The body supports the mind's return to equilibrium. You are not holding on to anything now. You are not required to process or reflect. Everything is being handled quietly beneath awareness. The sleeping mind understands emotional timing. It does not rush. It does not force. It follows internal signals that guide it toward balance. As you rest here, you can allow thoughts to soften further. Words may lose clarity. Sensation may replace thought. This is a sign that emotional processing is complete for now. Dreaming gradually gives way to deeper stillness. Emotion settles. Awareness thins. Rest becomes more complete. You do not need to wait for anything else to happen. You do not need to stay awake for this. The night continues gently, carrying you forward. And as the sleeping mind completes its quiet emotional work, you can remain at ease, knowing that balance is being restored naturally, calmly, and without effort, while sleep holds you in stillness. As the night continues, the sleeping mind turns its attention inward in a quieter way. Beneath awareness, subtle organization is taking place. Nothing is being sorted forcefully. Nothing is being reviewed deliberately. Instead, the mind allows experiences to settle into place naturally, like dust gently falling after motion has stopped. During waking hours, the mind takes in more information than it can immediately absorb. Sounds, sights, conversations, emotions, and thoughts accumulate throughout the day. Sleep provides the space where these experiences can soften and find their place. Dreaming plays a quiet role in this process. It does not organize memories in straight lines or clear categories. It blends them gently, allowing important patterns to remain while unnecessary details fade away. This is why dreams often feel familiar but unclear. The sleeping mind is not replaying events, it is smoothing them. It keeps what feels meaningful and releases what is no longer needed. As you rest now, memory does not feel like effort. There is no recalling, no repeating, no focus. The mind moves through experience in a calm, indirect way. Learning settles without strain. Dreams allow memories to loosen from their original context. This flexibility helps the mind adapt. Information becomes easier to use later because it is no longer tied tightly to specific moments. The sleeping mind works quietly, without awareness. Even when dreams are forgotten, memory integration continues. The mind does not need conscious recall to function well. As sleep deepens, the brain reduces external input further. This creates a stable internal environment where connections can be strengthened gently. Mental clarity grows from rest, not effort. Dreams may briefly connect unrelated ideas. This blending supports understanding without requiring logic. New associations form calmly without pressure. The mind does not force insight during sleep. It allows clarity to emerge gradually. By morning, thoughts often feel lighter, simpler, and more organized, even without knowing why. This clarity is not sharp or analytical. It is quiet and spacious. The mind feels less crowded. Attention feels easier. As the night progresses, dreaming may come and go. Sometimes it is present as imagery. Sometimes it fades into deeper stillness. Both states support mental restoration equally. You are not required to notice memory processing. You are not required to remember dreams. The sleeping mind handles this naturally. As you rest here, the sense of needing to hold on to thoughts can fade. Nothing important will be lost. What matters will remain. The mind prefers simplicity during sleep. It moves toward balance automatically. Mental tension releases as structure softens. If awareness briefly returns, the mind settles again easily. There is no interruption. Sleep resumes smoothly, guided by rhythms older than thought. Dreaming helps the mind prepare for wakefulness without effort. It clears space gently, making room for new experience. As the night deepens further, memory activity becomes quieter. Processing completes. Stillness takes over. Thoughts lose their shape. Words dissolve. Meaning fades gently into rest. You do not need to follow this transition. You do not need to stay aware. The mind knows when to stop working. As sleep carries you onward, clarity continues to form quietly beneath awareness, leaving the mind refreshed, balanced, and calm, while you remain held in deep, effortless rest. As the night moves further along, the sleeping mind begins to quiet even more. Dreams, which once drifted through awareness as images or impressions, start to soften and thin out. They do not stop suddenly. They simply become less defined, like echoes fading into silence. This is a natural transition. The mind has already done much of its gentle wandering. Emotional weight has eased. Memories have settled. Now, the body and mind move together toward deeper stillness. In this stage of sleep, awareness becomes faint. Thought loses shape. Even the sense of dreaming becomes distant. The mind no longer needs imagery to rest. It prefers simplicity. The brain slows its activity further. Neural rhythms stretch and smooth. There is less internal motion, less variation. This is where rest becomes most complete. Dreams at this point are not stories or scenes. They are sensations without form, a sense of floating, a feeling of depth, a quiet awareness without focus. The mind is not empty here. It is resting. Like a calm lake at night, still holding depth beneath the surface. The body supports this state fully. Muscles remain relaxed. Breathing becomes slow and steady. The nervous system stays in its most restorative mode. There is no effort required to reach this stillness. It arrives naturally when nothing is asked of the mind. If awareness briefly returns, it does not disturb this state. The mind slips back easily, guided by internal rhythms that do not need attention. You do not need to stay asleep intentionally. You do not need to let go deliberately. The body and mind already know how to do this. As dreams fade, time loses meaning completely. There is no sense of passing minutes. The night feels wide and open, without edges. This deep stillness allows the body to repair quietly. Energy restores, systems reset gently. All of this happens without awareness. The mind remains safe and supported. There is no vigilance here, no monitoring, just rest. In this space, even emotion becomes neutral. Feelings settle into calm background presence. Nothing rises, nothing pulls. You may not remember this part of the night. Most people do not. That is because memory requires awareness, and awareness is minimal here. This does not mean nothing is happening. It means rest is complete. The sleeping mind prefers this quiet depth once its gentle work is finished. It does not cling to dreams. It releases them easily. As stillness deepens, the sense of self fades further. Identity softens. There is no role to play, no thought to maintain. Only rest remains. Breath continues on its own. The heart keeps its steady rhythm. The body remains supported by gravity and stillness. This is the calm center of sleep. Nothing needs to change. Nothing needs to be noticed. The night holds everything. As you remain here, wrapped in quiet, the sleeping mind rests fully, untouched by urgency, untouched by thought, allowing the deepest form of restoration to take place naturally. As the deepest part of the night continues, the sleeping mind remains calm and undisturbed. There is no urgency here, no sense of direction or destination. Sleep holds you in a steady, quiet balance, where nothing is expected and nothing is required. In this space, dreams have fully softened. If they appear at all, they do so faintly, like distant impressions that never ask to be followed. Awareness is thin now, resting gently on the edge of nothing in particular. The body remains supported by slow, even rhythms. Breath moves in and out without effort. The heart keeps its quiet pace. Muscles stay loose and heavy, settled into rest. The sleeping mind is not preparing yet. It is simply resting. Morning is far away. Time has no shape here. As the night moves slowly forward, internal cycles continue quietly. The mind drifts between deep stillness and gentle lightness without disturbance. This movement is smooth and natural, like waves rising and falling far from shore. You do not need to stay asleep deliberately. You do not need to guide this process. Sleep continues on its own. Even as the body subtly shifts toward lighter stages of rest, calm remains constant. There is no sudden change, no signal, just a gradual easing that will happen later when the time is right. For now, the mind remains quiet. Thought does not return. Language does not form. Awareness rests in simplicity. This is where the benefits of sleep settle fully. Restoration completes itself. Balance stabilizes. The nervous system remains calm and safe. You may never remember this part of the night, and that is perfectly fine. Deep rest does not ask to be remembered. It leaves its effects quietly behind. As morning eventually approaches, the sleeping mind will respond naturally. Awareness will return gently, without shock, but there is no need to move toward that moment yet. For now, there is only stillness. The night remains wide and open, holding you without pressure. You are free to remain here, untouched by thought, untouched by time. Breathing stays slow. The body stays heavy. The mind stays quiet. Nothing interrupts this calm. And as sleep continues to carry you through the remaining hours of the night, you can remain completely at ease, knowing that rest is complete, safety is constant, and everything needed for renewal is already unfolding, softly and silently, while you remain held in deep, effortless sleep.